Welcome back, everybody, to another Thursday edition of the podcast. This is take 2 because we just got 20 minutes into this thing and somebody didn't hit record.
Somebody's the one that does the introduction on the podcast.
Oops.
Host / producer of the show.
Oops. My bad.
I'm just the personality.
Yep. Appreciate the great feedback we've been getting so far on doing some turkey interviews on Mondays. We did Claude 2 weeks ago. We did Dean Redbeard this Monday. And they're doing really good. So I appreciate that, guys. If you're fired up about the turkey content, give it a share on social media. Put it in some of your turkey hunting groups. If it's something that helps you out, just give it a share. Share it with a buddy, and let's get this thing rolling. Weaver event.
Yeah.
What you got on that?
So just as a reminder for everybody, even though we're talking turkeys, we're still talking a little bit of deer. February 28th, Saturday, February 28th is our 4th annual Hunters Meetup event at Weaver Meat Processing in Hartsville, Alabama. It's a big buck competition for deer killed in Alabama that we get a bunch of door prizes for, along with a scoring event with Buckmasters. I think it's 3 of the 4 of their master scorers will be there, including Steve Lucas, who's been on the podcast before.
Is Perry going to be scoring?
I don't know if he's going to be scoring, but he's going to be at the event.
Okay.
Our buddy Michael Perry. But it's gonna be a fantastic event because it's free to come hang out for the day. Starts at 9:00, runs to 4:30 in the afternoon. There'll be lunch provided for free, along with non-alcoholic beverages, Coke, tea, water, stuff like that. But it's gonna be an absolute blast. So this is again 4th year we've done it. But again, if you have a deer that you've killed in the past, or your daddy killed it, grandfather killed it, whoever it was that killed a deer, if you want to get it scored just because you're curious, you can bring it and get scored for free by Buckmasters. So it's a great time. I think we had like 110 or 115 deer get scored last year. Yeah. Not all of them for the competition. A lot of people just brought their first deer, whatever, to come get scored. And it's awesome. So again, February 28th, Saturday, February 28th, come hang out with us at Weaver Meat Processing in Hartsville, Alabama.
Yep. It's going to be a good time. Hope to see everybody there. We'll jump into the questions here. The first one is from Zane Weaver in Ohio. The subject is hunting during college.
Howdy, y'all. Hey, Zane Weaver here from Northeast Ohio. Out here, lovely day, about 5 degrees, so that's pretty nice. It warmed up a little bit from the previous couple days. Thank you all for the awesome podcast. I've been very appreciative. Learned some awesome tips. Like y'all say, you can pick something out from every listener. And I've been doing that, and I've been benefiting big time. I was able to tag out here in Ohio on deer. I was very fortunate. That's a huge thanks to y'all. Got a really good buck on the ground. So, yeah, thank y'all. My question for y'all is, I am planning to attend college this coming fall. And I know I'm going to have limited time. But I know y'all had went to college, and I didn't know if you had any advice, tips, tricks for me as I go through that. Just get out more, do a little hunting. I'm fortunate to be able to hunt maybe 100 to 75 days out of the year. It's awesome. I just didn't know, what y'all got on that. Out here trying to find some sheds today. Haven't found any yet, but it's a good day. Hopefully find some. So yeah, thank y'all. I'll keep listening.
All right, Jacob, what you got hunting during college?
Well, it distracted. Well, it wasn't the whole reason, but I ended up dropping out of college. So, I was in college for 2.5 years and then pulled the plug, I think, on it.
Do you remember when you were getting ready to drop out of college? I was still working at Field and Stream in Birmingham. And you came to Field and Stream and talked to me for like 3 hours trying to convince me to drop out too, to go do that sales job that you were getting.
Mm-hmm. worked out pretty good for me, but I got at the time I didn't have the maturity to focus in class. Now I could probably go back and do fine and be no big deal. But back then I just wanted to go and get going, and anyways, ended up starting doing sales, the medical sales for a handful of years, and getting insurance. Really liked it, and then doing the podcast now. But I was so distracted, especially in the fall, specifically in Alabama. Like the places that places we've always hunted, tends to have that mid-December rut, and that's the same week of finals typically. So like while you're studying for finals and taking finals is the rut. And there were some times where I was like, I'm not going to study. I'm going to go hunt, which didn't end up well for taking finals. And then during the springtime, it seemed like the spring was the same way, like for midterms and stuff like that. Always was during turkey season. And I was just like, it was a fiasco. I'd be daydreaming in class, think about hunts.
Yep.
It was before I didn't even have Onyx during college. Like Onyx, I think we had just gotten Onyx, as in available for Alabama. I wasn't using it quite yet. But I'd be sitting on my phone back in class, like trying to take some notes, but also getting on like Google Earth or whatever, looking around, trying to scout where I was going to hunt for that next morning.
Yep.
So long story short, I don't really have any great advice other than like try to take it seriously, especially thankfully, I didn't have any student loans. I paid my way through school. So when I dropped out, I didn't owe anybody any money, which was great. But if you're taking student loans out, you better take it pretty seriously because you're going to have to owe that money back, boy.
Yes, sir. With interest, my man. Yeah, I'm going to start out with just a little bit of life advice when it comes to going to college. If you're going to go to college, you're going to spend the money on college, then whatever degree you're getting, you should have a pretty clear path as to what you're going to do with that and how you're going to make money off of that degree. And I only bring that up because a lot of the people that I went through school with, like my buddies from high school and people I met during college, now that I'm 28 now, so been out of college for like, I don't know, like a couple years. I can't do math. They never taught me math in college. But a lot of the people that got out of college in 2020, okay, I got out in 2020, so 8 years ago. When we were graduating in like 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, a lot of those people now about 10 years removed from it don't do, oh, it's 2026.
You're an idiot. That's what I was going to say. I was like, you really can't do math. You're like, it was 2020. Oh, yeah, it was 8 years ago. I got out of college.
I said 28.
Oh, my gosh. Guys, listen.
Guys, I'm truly not good at math.
And you went to college. Like, what? Bro,
When I got to community college, I had to take remedial math. It was bad. Real bad. And the worst part is my dad was an accountant. And he's like, son, you want to take over the family business? I'm like, no, I'll get thrown in jail, bro. Anyways, but now that a lot of us have been out of college for a while, the people that I was around, most of the people ended up not using their degrees, and they still have those loans. So I'm just saying that treat it like a business loan, where if you were going to take out a business loan for something, you would have to have a very clear plan of how you're not only going to pay that money back, but how you're going to make exponentially more money than you spent, on that degree. So just make sure that you have that mapped out and you're not going just to get a degree, because I'll just say it, I don't think that really flies anymore. My parents' generation would disagree, but I think that just doesn't fly anymore. So make sure you got a plan. Second of all, I went to community college, kind of like Jacob was saying, and I delayed my entire college career by a full year because in the springtime, around finals, it was turkey season, and I had to take music appreciation, which I didn't love. And I thought my final was on a Thursday instead of Tuesday. So on Tuesday, I went turkey hunting. Thursday, I show up. There's nobody there. Failed the class. Sunk my GPA. And then had to take a full year of like throwaway classes to get my GPA back up so I could get into Auburn the following like cycle or whatever. So don't do that. But when you're in college, you can usually structure your classes where like you kind of plan your schedule a little bit. There's some classes where you're just not going to have options and you're not going to be able to get it exactly in the time slot that you want it. But a lot of times you'll look at your class, you'll be like, hey, I could structure this where maybe I'm a little more heavy in the mornings, where like maybe my first class is at 8 a.m. and my last one's at like 11:30. And then you can hunt the afternoons or do whatever you got to do in the afternoons. Or the other way around, where maybe you don't have your first class until 10, 11 and you don't get done until 5. Just look at your schedule like that, and you can build in a little bit of free time. What you don't want to do is when you're scheduling your classes, you don't want to have at least I didn't want to have big gaps between all my classes, like where my first class is at 8, my next one's at 11 or anything like that, because then you're kind of stuck and you got to hang out on campus all day or whatever. So I try to batch all of them together as much as I can and then load it towards either the afternoon or the morning. And depending on what year you are in the semester, like sometimes you're able to load them in the morning, sometimes you're able to load them in the evening, just whatever the case may be. But when it comes to hunting in college, that's what I would recommend is like, just try to adjust your schedule accordingly and don't try to force it. Like build free time into your schedule whenever you can and take it serious.
Yeah, also remember you have homework and different projects you're working on and studying.
And
so actually,
That teacher where I missed that final, she had no sympathy for me
Of
whatsoever.
course not. I wouldn't either. I'm like, you're an idiot. I mean, how'd you forget the day? That's
It's like, we need to make sure you don't advance.
exactly.
You're an idiot.
Listen, sorry, you don't need to be in the workforce. You better go figure out your own path.
Oh, dude.
So, yeah. Anyway, next question.
All right. Next up, we got Mason Brook from Georgia. The subject is buzzards.
Fellas, Mason from Georgia. I'm disappointed in myself. My YouTube feed is nothing but turkeys. Just ordered me a turkey vest. Got me a couple boxes of turkey shells to shoot and try to see which one's pattern the best. And I'm kind of set out on killing me some turkeys this year. I believe Georgia's a 2-bird state, and they can't be the same day, so it's got to be 2 separate days. As you know, my deer trophy club is also a turkey trophy club. I believe that's, like full fan. I believe it's 6-inch beard at least, and I don't think there's a regulation on cutters, but or not cutters, spurs. So I think I'm gonna go try to shoot me a turkey. So my question for y'all is simplicity. I want to be a simple turkey hunter. I'm not buying TSS, just not doing it. You don't need it. They didn't do it 20 years ago. Why do I need it now? I've got a TriStar shotgun that's $300 that I've used as a paddle. I've dropped in the river duck hunting, and it's never jammed once. So I'm not out here gonna go buy no $1,000 20 gauge just to shoot a bird that can't see and can't hear. I want to be as simple as possible, and I believe as a on the spectrum of Andrew Maxwell and Jacob Myers, I'm on the Jacob Myers side of things, even though my beard's way better than his. But on the heavy side, you know what I mean? I'm not saying nobody's fat, but I'm not 180 pounds like old Maxwell. So my biggest thing that I think would not allow me to have fun in the turkey woods would be comfort. So is there any tips and tricks on, hey, sit at a big tree where the ground goes down, at your feet, so your legs aren't at 90 degrees, so maybe they don't fall asleep as quick, or something like that. I've got a bog pot. I was thinking, like, is that something you take in the turkey woods to where your gun's always propped up for you, or can that hurt you in the long run if you get one that comes in a little to your left or right and you can't turn as good, or so basically my question is how to make turkey hunting for a fat boy comfy and simple. And I'll make a deal with you. If I don't shoot one turkey this year in the state of Georgia, I will take a video and I will I will buzz my beard with a number 3 buzz guard. This is my pride and joy. I don't have anything up top. I'm bald as can be. So that's how confident I am that these birds are dumb, they can't see, they can't hear, and that y'all just try to make it seem hard so that you feel like you're doing something. But no, not really. I'm just messing with y'all. But yeah, I'll shave my beard if I don't shoot one turkey in Georgia this year. Now that jogger might have a 1/2-inch beard, but a turkey's a turkey. But yeah, I'd appreciate that. I know this is long. You can chop it up, cut it up, do whatever you got to do. So I look forward to listening to it Thursday. I appreciate what y'all do, and I will holla at you later.
All right, Mason, my man. There's a couple things wrong with what you just said. First of all, somewhere in there you said that turkeys can't hear and see very good. That is incorrect on both counts. They can hear and see very, very good. Better than you. And then you brought up just being comfortable carrying around a tripod. Those bog pods are awesome for deer hunting because you can put your rifle in it and, you know, it holds your rifle, especially if you're watching some kind of straightaway or even a big clear cut. Like, you got options. When it comes to turkey hunting, especially if you're doing it like how you're saying, you're wanting to get them real close and you're going to be hunting in the woods, a lot of times you're going to have to make quick adjustments, and having your gun in a tripod is not the way to do that. It's going to be bulky, noisy, hard to carry around. So I definitely would not carry a tripod. That's my recommendation. And then when it comes to being comfortable, obviously most turkey vests come with just a little butt pad where you can sit on the ground. That's good. If you have time to set up, you can get comfortable with that. If I'm running and gunning, like I know I'm going to be covering a lot of ground, I kind of don't really know where the turkeys are at, then I'm just going to roll with a turkey vest and just be as comfortable as I can. If I know I'm going to buckle down on an area and be in one small area for pretty much all day and not move very much, I might carry a turkey chair with me. And a turkey chair just sits, it sits like that high off the ground, really low to the ground, and you lean far back in it. So you can put your knees up in front of you and just rest your gun on your knee. And you shouldn't have a problem getting comfortable in a turkey chair, and having that gun on your knee will allow you to make a quick adjustment to the left or right if you need to, where, you know, you may think he's coming straight at you, but then at the last second you hear footsteps way off to your left and you got to shift over and get on him. Turkey chair is great for that. Super comfortable. You can sit in one for a long time and be comfortable. But again, it's just whether or not you want to carry it. So I would go ahead and buy one, maybe carry it a couple times. If you decide you don't need it, then maybe just don't carry it except in certain situations. And they're great for deer hunting too. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, turkey chair, I've used them in the past. I stopped kind of using them because I figured out how I get pretty comfortable without a turkey chair anymore. I use it because I've got I still have it's never fully healed, but fractured L5 vertebrae. And it'll the way the fracture is, I've had it for 15, actually probably longer than 15 years. I've had that fracture. It'll press on a nerve, and I have like nerve pain, like run down my left leg go numb, and it just hurt like fire. And that's the reason I started using that turkey chair, because it distributed the weight and everything. So I'm not sitting on like one, especially if there's like a rock, or there's sometimes you sit on a tree and you can't really clear everything out underneath the tree. There's like roots that you can't really do anything with. So that's why I use turkey chair. Turkey chair worked fine, but it's kind of stopped using it now. The other thing I was going to say about comfort during turkey season, two things will make me more uncomfortable than anything. That is getting dive bombed by mosquitoes or getting covered in ticks while you're sitting there and you're watching them come up your pants. Okay? So make sure you're sprayed down with permethrin on all your clothes, your turkey vest, all that stuff. And then also using, you can use a Thermacell, you can use Picaridin spray or lotion, something that, like, DEET does not work for me. Typically, if I use, like, bug spray with DEET in it, it just does not work other than burns the crap out of my skin. And, but having something for mosquitoes, so you're not constantly sitting there like blowing them out of your face or swatting or anything like that, will make it a lot more comfortable during that circumstance. Because again, there'll be those days, especially in April, where you've had quite a few warm evenings. Like we're just getting like in the 60s in the evening, 50s, 60s to get warm front coming through, and then all of a sudden in the day it's in the mid 70s and there's just mosquitoes everywhere. Same thing with ticks. So I would pay attention to that, and you'll be a lot more comfortable that way. Another thing, well, it just depends on hunting style. I've got one of those Newcomb blinds. They're a little A-frame blind. It works real good. I don't like to carry it a whole bunch during turkey season, but it's the same kind of things. Like if I was going to go to some spot where, especially if it's close to a roost, like on a roadbed or something like that, like a logging road that they're probably going to pitch down on, something like that, helps with comfort from the aspect of you can kind of get away with a little bit of movement down low behind that thing. But really the chair would be the biggest thing for adding comfort.
Yeah. And then last thing, Mason, your challenge on if you don't kill a turkey, you're going to shave your beard.
No, he's not even shaving. He's just
First of
trim.
all, I have an objection to that principle. And, which, by the way, I've been sick. See, my brain's not working good. I've been sick. If you're gonna do that, I would say it can't be a number 3 guard. That's like trimming your beard. if you're gonna do it, you gotta shave your beard, like straight up.
I want to see what babyface Mason looks like.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Come on, Mason. Let's up the ante. If you were that confident, I said this a minute ago, right before we had to restart. If you're that confident, you should say, if I don't kill a turkey, I'll shave off my eyebrows. That would be interesting. That would make great video content.
I think he's in sales, and that might be a little.
That might affect his income.
It might affect his income for a while. So that would not be good.
Oh, dude.
I mean,
if you're that confident, dude, like.
I don't know, he might rather have the eyebrow shaved than the beard.
All right, Mason, you tell us. What's it going to be? I reject the 3-guard. Can't do the 3-guard. You have to shave it. You can go no guard. There might be a little stubble.
Also, for backstory for all the listeners and viewers who don't know about Mason, Mason's a longtime listener, buddy of ours with the podcast, and he's always talked mad crap about turkey hunting.
Yes.
Hates turkey. Hates when we switch over to turkeys, all turkey hunting content, all that kind of stuff.
But we finally converted.
And now he's finally going to go try to do it, and he's super he's overconfident with the success. Watch, he might go out there and tag out in the first week in Georgia, and then there won't be nothing you could tell him.
That's it, man.
There won't be nothing.
We were talking to someone about that the other day when it comes to turkey. It was like, once someone's killed 3 or 4 turkeys, you can't tell them nothing, boy.
Yep.
Anyways, all right, Mason, I appreciate the question, man. So I hope you don't have to shear your beard off. I hope you get one this year.
Yeah, heck yeah.
One thing we talk about with almost every guest on this show is map scouting. My favorite map scouting tool is LiDAR. If you're unfamiliar, LiDAR is basically like a 3D scan of the Earth's surface. I like to say it kind of takes away all the surprises. LiDAR is now available on onX Hunt on their topography map. If you go to your app right now, click on the topography map, you can flip on that LiDAR feature and boom, it's going to come on and you're going to see what I'm talking about. The LiDAR is going to allow you to see things that are normally hidden from view. This might be ditches, bends and creeks, rocks, old road beds. I personally love old road beds because deer like to walk them. They're great places to find scrapes. They're great camera locations. And before, an old roadbed or an old logging road might be something that you kind of happen upon while you're out scouting or hunting. Well, now with the LiDAR, before I go into an area, I can turn on that LiDAR and I can see exactly where those roadbeds are. Even old logging roads from the 1930s, you can still see them on there. So that allows me to go straight to those spots and check them out. It's just an incredibly helpful tool, and it's available now on onX Hunt. And hey, if you want to get 20% off your onX Elite membership, you can use the promo code SOUTHERN. Like I said, it's going to save you 20%. Go check out that LiDAR feature. You'll be glad you did. Know where you stand with onX Hunt. So when it comes to packing your gear into the woods, there's really one thing that matters the most to me, and that is being able to have everything very secure and within the footprint of your torso, essentially, which means that I don't want anything sticking out from either side. I don't want anything sticking up above my back. You just want to keep everything really tight, close to the body, so you're not snagging on things when you're walking through the woods. To do that, it's important to have a backpack that has a lot of options for how you can attach things to the pack. This is the Ranger 22 and Ranger 33 from Latitude, 2 of our favorite packs. And the reason I like these packs is because they've got 2 straps that go across the body of the pack. They've got this panel that goes over those straps, and then you also have straps on the bottom of the backpack as well. What that allows me to do is I can attach my sticks and my platform in a variety of different ways that keeps everything very secure and kind of covered up. Like you can see, I've got my platform right here covered with this panel. Again, that keeps it very tight and it keeps it close to my body where nothing's hanging out and snagging on briars or vines or anything as I'm trying to make my way to the stand, which keeps me quiet and keeps me from getting aggravated when I'm walking through the woods. So I personally like the Ranger 22 a lot. The Ranger 33 is a slightly bigger pack. It's a really good option, especially as you get into later season. If you want a little bit more room, it's going to make it easier to carry things like bibs or any extra layers that you're going to need for cold weather. So you can check both of these out at latitudeoutdoors.com. All right. Next up, this is from our Instagram Q&A. This is from Austin Roberts. This is a good question. How will the mast crop affect turkey movement this season? What do you think? Heavy mast year, a lot of acorns on the ground, even now. What do you think?
I don't think it's going to change turkey movement because I'm not really worried about turkey movement. Turkeys are going to, who did we just interview? Oh, it doesn't come out until I think Monday. I think on Monday's episode we talked a little bit about this. I brought this up about with mast crops. And
yes,
if
about beech trees.
Yeah, if turkeys kind of stay in the same area, they move. Because I've seen where I found them in the fall during decent mass, not like crazy like this year, but like good mass years, and they're in the same spots in the springtime. But the important factor, there's a really good nesting habitat close by where the hens are going to use. So I think that's the big factor, and that's what we talked about a little bit in Monday's episode with the absolute killer on the podcast. But it's like you got to have good nesting habitat. Like you have also food source, but there's no nesting habitat. Like you'll find some turkeys there, but at some point in the spring during the season, they're not going to be there anymore. At least there's not going to be very many gobblers because all the hens have shifted to a different section that's got better habitat. So I don't think it's going to do anything with movement. I think you're going to have some really healthy birds, and specifically with super healthy turkeys with all the mass. Because I was just down in South Alabama visiting with Emmy's family, and we were out squirrel hunting. Dude, there are water oak acorns everywhere on the ground. I'm talking slap everywhere still. Like, dude, a squirrel, raccoon, deer could not eat them all. It's not even physically possible. But I think you're just going to have some super healthy turkeys and maybe like a little increase in body weights, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But movement-wise, I don't think it's going to affect anything. They're going to be where they're going to want to be.
Yeah, I agree with that. Going to Monday's episode, like Jacob mentioned, listen to that because they do touch on this a little bit, our guest for Monday. It's a good one. It's a real good one. But they touch on it a little bit. And, I mean, really all it comes down to is just knowing your area. Once you start scouting for turkeys going into this spring, I mean, really, you could start scouting for them right now if you wanted to. But when you're going out there, it might just be some areas to check. Like if there's a white oak or like a water oak bottom or a red oak bottom on your place that was just loaded this year, where they're probably not going to all be gone by the time spring comes, it's worth going in there and just looking at it. See if they're scratching in it. See if there's sign there. Like those are good starting points, but I don't think it factors in a ton, like you said. I mean, it's really going to just come down to where are you hearing them, where are you seeing the sign. But those might be some good first areas to check when you start scouting. All right, let's do some more from Instagram. Let's see. Oh, real quick deer one. This is from old Sam Brown. Jacob, why the 6.5 PRC over a 270? Ballistics are identical and the same bullet offerings for both.
Because I'm a hipster.
Couldn't you tell from the hair?
Yeah. But the biggest difference is you can get it in a short action instead of a long action. So more compact, a little lighter weight gun with that. So yeah, I mean that's really it. 270 is a great round, dude. I was thinking I've got one. Let's see, just one. I got one 270 in the safe. I've never hunted with it. That's what Thomas uses, and it's a phenomenal cartridge. It was the first Magnum cartridge. Well, I'll take that back. It was one of the first Magnum cartridges. Everybody, Jack O'Connor. That was his thing because it's a neck down 30-06, and it was the 6.5 Creedmoor of back in the day, which it's faster than 6.5 Creedmoor. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I like it a lot, and I have no problem finding ammunition for it. So there you go, Sam.
All right, this one's from Jacob Emery. Sighting in with lead and using TSS for hunting. How much difference is there inside of 50 yards?
So we did this with Greg Mayhair 2 years ago. I don't think the full aspect of that test was all on YouTube on the video we did with him, because we were sighting in one of my guns. It depends on what kind of lead. If you're using like dove loads, which is normally kind of what we use to kind of get a rough estimate, kind of where you're at, you're like point of impact's going to be close, but like you better be shooting at a pretty big piece of cardboard or something, because if you're shooting at one of those little turkey targets that's 12 inches or like 14 inches wide and 18 inches long, you could have quite a bigger pattern, left, right, high or low compared to that lead load. But I don't really know. I know we were talking about distance. I think Greg had some theories because he's shot pretty far, like just on paper, messing with it. And I know at distances further than I would ever want to shoot at a turkey, that TSS is dropping. Yes. It's carrying a lot of energy, but it is dropping. Like we were messing around, and again, I would never shoot a turkey this far. I think it was your gun, or David Ellis's gun. We shot like at 70 yards, and it was like point of impact was like 14 inches low or something like that, center of pattern.
Yeah,
It was dropping considerably.
that was my gun.
Yeah, I mean, it was dropping considerably, which again, I'm not trying to ever think about shooting turkey that far. But I don't know. I mean, 50 yards, the only difference I would say is just the pellet count. Your lead pattern is going to look tremendously different from the TSS, especially if you're shooting number 9s.
Yeah, but we had to make some adjustments there, didn't we?
Oh, you got to make. Oh, yeah.
Well, I know. I'm saying he's talking about sighting in with lead and then just rolling with TSS.
Oh, no.
Don't do that.
No. I don't know why Jacob's asking me this. Jacob's killed way more turkeys than I have. Lord. He probably killed more than you. Jacob's killed a lot of turkeys.
Probably so.
But, yeah, dude, I'd always check. It's not, I mean, I understand TSS is so expensive. And again, like Mason said, you don't have to shoot TSS. Yeah. There's some great lead offerings now. And it's like, hey, my range is 40, 45 yards and in, depending on how the gun shoots, which is, I mean, that's what we're trying to do anyways. And most of the time when we hunt, your shots are way inside 40 yards because the way you're trying to set up.
Yeah, if you can see 70 or 80 yards, that's a bad setup.
Oh, I didn't tell you. I'll tell you after this, or I'll tell you after we finish this part of the conversation, but it has to go with this. Well, actually, I'll say it now. I don't know.
Say it now. What are you doing?
It's one of my guns. One of the guns I picked up, that Remington 11, Model 11 I bought.
Oh, yeah.
Full barrel. That we shot number 8s through it, like a little dove load. Dude, at 30 yards, it throws a nasty pattern.
You going to turkey hunt with it?
I was going to try to find some number 6s for it and see how it shoots. But those number 8s, I mean, it was nasty pattern at 30. It was like 30, I think it was 33 yards we shot it. Like, you could kill them with that little dove load for sure.
Okay.
But it was... I shot it. I was like, dude, this thing's bad. Bro, like, the pattern was like that tight. At like 30 yards.
Oh, you got to kill a turkey.
I mean, dude, it was sick.
We got people asking about gun stuff. Explain the Remington Model 11 quickly.
A Remington Model 11 was Remington. I don't think they bought the patents, but they licensed the patents from John Browning for the A5, Browning A5, which is a legendary gun. And Remington made their own variant of it. They call it the Model 11, and they stopped making it in 1948, I think. I haven't looked at my serial number, but it's, again, 1948 or older. But it's a Remington-made A5. Looks like an A5. And I picked it up. It's got a full barrel on it. And at first, I didn't really want it, but I was like, maybe this thing will shoot real. I don't know. Like, go mess around with it. And, dude, it throws a nasty pattern. So I was going to mess around. Point of impact was perfect. There was no left or right. It was shot perfect, at least with that light load. So I was going to try to find something else. It's a 2 3/4 inch 12 gauge. So trying to find a 2 3/4 inch, like number 6, would be probably killer for that thing, for a gun, 35-yard gun. But, I mean, it might throw a nasty pattern at 40. I'm not going to shoot any, like, super hot turkey loads through it just because I don't want to potentially crack the stock. So, again, it's an older gun, but, man, thing shot good. Like, me and Emmy's dad were shooting it, and he's like, dude, this thing's sweet. I'm like, dude, and it's tight. Dude, it throw that shell freaking 15 feet to the right. Nice. That sucker's tight, that action. But anyway. But, yeah, Jacob, whatever. For anybody, if you're going to shoot TSS, you need to shoot some lead through it, get it kind of dialed in, and then shoot it 1 or 2 shells of TSS through it. Just make sure it's where you want it to be. Because one of the worst things you could do is, you put all that effort into buying those shells, you shoot lead through it, but you don't decide to shoot until you shoot a turkey, and you just completely whiff on the turkey. You blame the gun. Come to find out, you just didn't have it sighted in properly. Especially, I'm thinking more so through a red dot than shooting a bee. If you're shooting a bee, it's going to shoot how it's going to shoot. But anyway.
Yep. Unless you do old Bo Smith's method, bend that barrel, son.
You ain't doing that with a rib on it.
No.
You gotta have a ribless barrel for that to work.
All right. I'm not going to try to read some of these Instagram names because they're really complicated. All right. Next question is afternoon turkey strategy. What do you think for afternoons? We're pretty limited on that here in Alabama on public ground. We got a 1 p.m. cutoff, so we don't get to hunt a lot of afternoons.
Yeah, on public. On private. I would say areas that a gobbler could get to strut that's adjacent to roost location. So if you kind of know where they're roosted at, if it's hill country, a little high spot adjacent within 150 yards of that roost site, probably a killer afternoon spot. Or if there's a food plot adjacent to it or old road bed adjacent to it, something like that. and then just doing a bunch of soft calling if they're not gobbling and if you're not striking birds.
Yeah, I killed several in the afternoons, actually back in college, and it was before the 1 p.m. cutoff took effect on public ground in Alabama. And every time I killed one in the afternoons, it was just slipping through areas where I typically heard them gobbling in the morning. And this would be like 4 p.m. and on, so like kind of later in the afternoon where they're going to be drifting back towards those roost locations. And just, like you said, soft calling. And I never killed a single one that came in gobbling. They all came in silent. And a lot of times they didn't even come in strutting or anything. They just came creeping in, and you just hear footsteps.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, it's like some of the most exciting hunts. It's one like it's different from like them drumming or gobbling hard coming into you. That's different. But like you know where they're coming from. It's another thing when you haven't heard anything, all of a sudden you hear footsteps, and you're like, "That's a turkey." And like your mind's racing, your mind is racing, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, like where is he at?" And especially if you hear the footsteps and then maybe hear a little bit of drumming, oh, that sets you over the edge. But like even if it's just footsteps, it's like,
oh yeah,
gotta be careful. Make sure it's not a person. Like double, triple check what you're shooting at. And just But gosh, I love hearing that sound.
Yeah, and especially, really, for me, afternoon turkey hunting is more fun when you're in an area where you kind of know where the turkeys are at.
You got to. I think you have to know. Yeah. To me, afternoon's more, you got to be more strategic in the afternoon than even in the morning. Like, a good gobbling morning is like they're telling you right where they're at. Afternoon, they may not gobble. Like, they may not like anything you're throwing out there. But you need to know where they've been roosting at and then setting up accordingly for that.
Yeah, on my old club, we had a great setup for afternoon spots because it was on the very corner of the property, and it was a steep hill that dropped off into a big, giant, wide creek bottom. And they would roost on that high spot, which I think we talked about it last week. Like, I always seem like to me, it always seems like they like to roost in hill country on a steep hillside where they can walk up that steep hillside and pitch off. And there's this hill that overlooked this big bottom. And in the mornings, they were really hard to kill there in the mornings. I only ever killed one there in the morning. They would fly down. They might fly down on the ridge. They might fly all the way down into the bottom through the woods. And the property line was like right on that edge of where the hill kind of petered out into the creek bottom. So as soon as they get to the bottom of the hill, they're off the property. So they're hard to kill in the mornings because they're going into that creek bottom. But in the afternoons, they were always coming back up there. And I had some good hunts in there. I only hunted it a couple times, but pretty much every time I hunted it, we were close. Never ended up killing one right there. But given enough reps, I think we would have killed one right there. I think you were with me one time. It was like maybe me, you, and Sam. But that's a good strategy. Like if you've got a general idea of where they're roosting, and then you don't even really have to know where they're going, but like a general direction that they go to every day and come back from. And I'm not even saying learn that with trail cameras, just being out there. Like if you hear them gobbling and they go that direction, you could probably come back there in the afternoon and might be those turkeys, it might be different turkeys coming back to the same area. But that's a really, really good afternoon strategy. It works really well.
Yep.
Early afternoon, too. I've killed a couple like this where it's not really mid-morning anymore. It's not really midday. Like maybe it's like 1, 2, 3 o'clock, like early afternoon. Years ago, we interviewed Billy Yargis at NWTF. And, I mean, that might have been like the first year of the podcast. And when we interviewed him, he said that a good strategy is, again, just going to an area where you know that there's turkeys. Maybe they're not gobbling, but going in and finding just a high ridge point, like a high ridge that's got a bunch of fingers running off of it, where they can come from multiple directions because they like walking up those ridge points. And getting up there and figuring out what tree you want to get on, making sure you can get good and hid, and then stand up and walk around and just soft call and cluck and purr and yelp. Not like loud calling, but just like a feeding hen and scratching the leaves, and do it for like 5 minutes and then go and sit back down and sit there for like an hour and just get comfortable. And I killed a couple turkeys doing that. I killed one that spring with you, actually. Or I wasn't with you.
We've never killed turkey with each other.
I know.
Let's point that out.
There's a curse.
Yeah.
Gotta break the curse at some point. But anyways, that's what I did that day, is I just walked in there and I just walked around in circles and did little call. I called a lot, but I called quietly. And I've had that work for me several times. And a lot of times when you do that, they come in quiet.
Yeah.
So you just got to listen for the footsteps, listen for drumming. But that's a really good midday to early afternoon tactic too. Or even late in the afternoons, if you got a ridge that you know that they like to roost on, that's another good thing to try. And just camp out. That's a situation where I bring a turkey chair. because you're going to be there for a while. Like, that's the kind of tactic where you're going to sit there for a long time. So, good to bring a turkey chair in that situation. All right, next question. Does turkey trophy quality vary with region or genetic/food like deer? That's a good question.
What? It's just turkey.
Just like trophy quality. So trophy, like, I don't know how exactly they score turkeys, but basically body weight, beard length, spur length, right?
Yeah.
Does that vary region by region?
Unless you're hunting Osceolas, I don't think so. I mean, to me, part of the trophy, especially getting started, is getting a gobbler, mature, like a long-beard, not a Jake, mature gobbler, might be a 2-year-old, but getting one killed.
Yes.
If you start getting into, everybody maybe at some point, they start killing enough turkeys, like, oh man, I really want to get I'd love to kill 1.5-inch spur turkey or a 12-inch beard turkey or whatever. But I don't know. I have no idea when it comes to I don't know anybody that's really ever had a turkey officially scored.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know anybody who has. I have seen guys who, there's a guy, I can't remember if we interviewed him or not. He's in Georgia. And he's killed like a bunch of
we interviewed him.
I know we were trying to get him back on him. We never made it happen.
Yeah.
But he's killed a bunch with 2-inch spurs,
Mm-hmm.
and we were kind of wondering about that. We're like, is it just a genetic thing? Like where he lives, they're just more apt to have 2-inch.
He said that he thought that was the case. That it was just something that's like that region of Georgia has genetic nutrition quality to produce a 2-inch spur turkey. But yeah, I don't know. But
There's got to be like a genetic component to it.
yeah,
I mean, I'm sure.
but it's also I've heard people talk about like Rios having real short spurs. Okay,
But I've seen some people kill some.
that's what I'm saying.
Look,
Some guy, like there was one. I don't know. I forgot who we were talking to, but it might be who was coming out Monday. One of his sons
Yeah.
was talking about like killing like an 1.5 or 1.75 spurred Rio.
He killed 1.5 inches and 1.75 inches Rio.
Yeah, see, that's I'm like,
That's silly.
I don't know. Like,
That's a big old spur.
that's a great question, but we have no meaningful answer on that.
Yeah. All right. Best podcast for turkey hunting for someone fairly new to it. I'm going to be a little self-serving here and say that our interviews with these old timers are going to be really good for someone who's new to turkey hunting. And the reason I say that is because a lot of the guys who are really, really successful, and you'll notice this when you listen to a lot of these episodes, a lot of those guys are not doing anything very complicated. They're keeping it simple, and they're doing just fundamental things when it comes to turkey hunting, but they're making sure that they really do them well. So they're not getting distracted with, learning how to do some crazy call sequence or anything like that. It's good to know a lot of different calls and be able to do a lot of different calls, but that's not really what you need. Like if you're focused on that, you're kind of putting the cart before the horse. And the reason we like having a lot of these old timers on is because there's not a lot of that with those guys. They keep it stripped down to the basics. If you do the little things right, you're going to kill turkeys. Are you looking up a specific episode?
Yeah, one that I think would be good. I wouldn't call Shane an old timer, but he's got that kind of vibe though with him. Is our buddy Shane Simpson when he was on the podcast. Now this is not on. It's not on YouTube. It's audio only. Apple, any audio platform you can listen to the podcast on. But it is episode 226. Episode 226. The fundamentals of turkey hunting with Shane Simpson. That's an episode we get into great detail on the different type of vocalizations, the calls, how to make the calls, and so on, and how to use it in certain circumstances. I think that'd be a really good one to start with. In episode 226, you can only find Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio. And if you search specifically, I know you can do this on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you search Shane Simpson, Southern Outdoorsmen, it'll pull the episodes up that he's been on. He's been on a few times, but I'll pull up that episode from February 15th of 2021. But that's a really good one. But yeah, other than that, old timers. I mean, Coach Ron Waters, his first episode ever with us, I think is a phenomenal episode for someone kind of getting started. We're like, he's talking about some different call situations and circumstances, but how you don't have to call real aggressive and real fancy, maybe is the best way to put
Yeah.
it. You can be a little simple.
Covert calling.
Yeah, covert calling, soft calling, and how you can really have a lot of success. And it really did work for me. It's worked for me. It's worked for my brother Thomas doing that. So that's another one that I would look at listening to. But also the big thing is, and we've talked about this in the last couple episodes, and quite a few of the guests that we've had on this spring that we've already recorded with, episodes that have come out this spring, is a lot of turkey hunting is trial and error. Like you gotta, like, it's one thing, like you can hear somebody talk about it, but you might have you might have a real good understanding about calling, but if you don't have a good understanding of situational awareness and setup and positioning, you might not have any kind of success.
Yeah.
So you really got to go out there and make mistakes and try to learn from mistakes on why you didn't get an opportunity or why that turkey busted you or whatever. Because sometimes less is better than more, especially if you're brand new getting into it.
Agreed. All right, last question. Is it better to roost turkeys the night before or get them gobbling in the morning? I mean, both.
A week, 2 weeks before, start learning where they're roosting.
Yeah, start like any piece of information that you can get is going to be beneficial as far as hearing turkeys and where they're roosting and where they're gobbling on the ground. Again, discuss this a little bit on Monday's episode, this coming Monday that's coming out. But I actually haven't had a ton of luck killing birds that I've roosted. Roosting is fun. I like going out and roosting them and in the evenings, and then you're all excited to get out there the next morning, but I don't know if I've actually killed that many that I roosted.
Well, I think so. As you go in with a certain amount of confidence beforehand, and there's probably, because I've done that, and there's mistakes that get made because you try to push the envelope of how close you really want to get.
Yes.
And who knows, like there could have been a storm come through, something happened that night and he shifted trees, or you didn't have the tree pinned exactly where you thought he was, and where you think you're set up 60 yards away from him, he's right above you. And then pitches away 150 yards because he's like, I saw or heard something in the dark I don't like.
Reminds me of a hunt we had with Tyler years ago.
Yeah, that's what I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the issue.
I wish I could tell that story.
But that's the issue of like trying to get super tight to a bird, especially in the dark. If you don't, I've been so confident pinning a bird where I'm like, oh, he's right there, and I'll walk in there and he ain't where I thought he was, and he's a little bit too close to me or a little bit further away, and I'm just not in the spot that he's going to want to pitch down to or come down to. But the big thing is learning where turkeys like to roost on the place that you're hunting, and that can literally just be going out there in the mornings. Don't make a sound, and just let them start gobbling on their own. And as they start gobbling, start dropping pins where you're hearing turkey at.
Yep.
Because if you can learn that, that's a huge leg up on. Especially if you can do that a few days in a row or a week or ever as many times as you can, and you have as many roost spots pinned, and you see consistency of certain roost spots. And when you have the day where they don't want to gobble that morning, you kind of know where they've been roosting in the past, and you can go into those areas and start doing some soft call and set up accordingly and try to kill one of those birds when he's acting quiet.
Yeah, actually, I can think of one that I killed after roosting. It's the one that I killed right before Piper was born, like the day or two before she was born. Because Tiff was out there roosting with me that evening, and she was like all the way pregnant, and I mean about to pop. And she didn't want to come hunt it the next morning because she was afraid she'd go into labor. And I killed that joker. She could have been there, but I don't blame her. That would have been a little bit of a pickle. Anyways, yeah, also going back to just listening to the turkeys and figuring out where they are, just finding historical roost spots where I killed one on, it was probably 2 or 3 years ago now, on my old club, where I'd gone and roosted birds a couple times, and they were always on this one ridge point. It's actually the same one I was talking about earlier. They would roost there all the time. And so eventually I got to where I just quit trying to roost them because I'm like, they're probably going to be there. And I'd always come in on the ridge, like behind, like above them, and try to call them back up to me. And I never killed one doing that. And the only one I ever killed right there, I actually came in from the other side and got at the bottom of the hill. And I was sitting at the very base of that hill on that property line, looking back up the hill. And I killed one like that. Like he came around the side and he was like looking down there towards us. And I got that bird. But other than that, I haven't had a ton of luck with it. But, you know, that's the beauty of learning one property really well and just staying on one property and hunting it a good bit, is eventually you'll figure out where those historical roost sites are. And they'll be reliable, you know, year after year. You've even seen that on public ground.
Shoot, yeah. Heck yeah. I've had last 3 years same spots. Turkeys want to roost in the same section of public. And it's like I don't even need to go and try to roost them. Like there's on one of these 6 little clusters of pines they're going to be roosted in. And if you go in there and you can listen to all of them, they're there. If they're gobbling, they're all in one of those little groups of trees.
Yep.
So historical roosting trees. As long as the habitat's so similar in that area, they're going to keep using them.
Yeah.
They have a preference for a reason. So,
all right. That wraps up our questions this week. Y'all make sure to write in some more of those. Drop some more video questions in there as we roll into turkey season.
Mm-hmm.
Monday's episode's a good one. I'd be curious to see if anybody has any follow-up questions to Monday's interview. Write them in for Thursday. We see what we can work out there. And then on the deer side, you haven't hunted or anything, right?
Mm-mm.
You just squirrel hunted?
Yeah, squirrel hunted. Did some crappie fishing. That's it.
Y'all catch any crappie?
Some catfish bait. Can't eat. That's the crazy thing. Alabama can't use game fish for fishing bait. Other than you can use bluegill, which I don't understand why you can use bluegill. We can't use everything else. Tennessee's one of those states, and I think North Carolina, you can put a largemouth bass on a circle hook and catch a flathead, and it's totally illegal. It's completely illegal. But yeah, no, we didn't do anything crazy. So.
Yeah. I was planning on deer hunting yesterday. So we're recording this on the last day of deer season. But I was planning on going yesterday where I killed my last buck and giving it one more shot because I've checked those trails a couple more times. They've still got tracks on them, still doing the thing. Moved a camera around in there, and they've been getting a lot of activity here lately. So I was like, man, I need to go give that one more sit. Well, then I got sick, and I was up all night hacking up a lung, so I didn't go. And sure enough, big old shooter walked by one of my cameras.
One that you know about?
Not one that I've gotten on camera, but it's the one that Sandra passed on accident purpose. Over.
It's pretty good one.
Yeah, he's a good one. He wouldn't have got a pass if he came by me. No way, no how. But I wasn't there to get him, so he made it. And then unless someone shot him this afternoon, which I don't think they did, the 11 point made it. So we got a picture of him like 2 days ago. So that leaves probably, I don't know how many mature bucks that we know about on the property that lived, but it's at least, I would say it's probably at least 4 or 5. It might be more than that.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of really nice up-and-comers. That buck with the busted pedicle, he's still just dogging does. He ran in front of one of my cameras yesterday. That antler is hanging, like touching his cheek hanging off. And he's just out there getting after it.
Hey, he's going to have a heck of a spike on that side next year.
Yeah. Curious to see what. I'm sure he'll be recognizable.
I say next year, this coming fall.
Yeah. But yeah, between those mature deer that made it, and then there's a whole bunch of just nice younger deer that made it through as well. So I'm very excited to see what happens this coming fall. And the club it's got a lot of loblolly pine stands on it that are just no good. They're shaded out. There's nothing but pine straw underneath them. It's the reason Jacob didn't join the club this year because they're non-productive. Like there's not good cover underneath them. You can't really see through them that well anyways, especially if you get up in a tree because there's so many actual trees in the way. But there's no good cover. There's no food in there. Unproductive generally for deer. Well, they came through and they cut like all that. They thinned all of it. So this coming fall, we're going to get a growing season on it throughout the summer. So this fall, I'm really, really interested to see all that new growth coming up through there all summer long. That's just going to be a lot more nutrition for these deer over the summer. So it's going to be really fun to see what they
Forget that. I'm thinking about there's going to be turkeys in that freaking thin pines, dude.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
I wanted to get out and listen because, dude, I bet they're gobbling right now. It's been like 70 degrees.
I mean, they were gobbling January the 4th or 5th, at least in one of the spots I hunted.
Yeah.
We had a couple burning down the trees they was burnt down period for 2 hours. These 2 gobblers. But I haven't heard one since then. Yeah. I've seen a bunch, but I ain't heard any. So,
yeah, I'm going to start. The last thing I'm going to do as far as deer season goes is I'm just going to go shift around a bunch of my cameras and put them close to bedding thickets and maybe put a couple on food plots and things like that. And hopefully start picking up some turkeys on some of them, just on
Yeah.
some food plots, just because I've got them, so I'll put them on a food plot. But now I'm trying to take a little bit of stock of what bucks are out there, like what bucks that we know are out there, and then head into next year. But I'm excited about this coming year. It's looking like it's gonna be really good. And then on my public land spot, there's one deer that I hunted him some this year. I've known about him for 2 years. He's a magnum. He's a big 8-point. And he's just super inconsistent on my cameras. But I get him on multiple cameras that are really far apart, even outside of the rut. So I don't know what's going on with that deer. But I'm going to go at least 2 or 3 days this month up there. And I'm just going to go scout some different areas that I haven't scouted before. And I'm kind of going into it with a little bit different perspective of what to look for after going to the like to Pennsylvania and talking to those guys who hunt big wood settings, and just talking to some other guys who hunt in like North Georgia, for instance. We actually got an episode coming out with a guy who hunts North Georgia in the mountains, who's got a very interesting thought on like water in the mountains and how that funnels deer. And we already recorded it. It's going to come out later this year. But I'm going to try to take his advice. And I'm going to go in there and I'm going to try to identify the areas that maybe I've been overlooking, but that have everything that one of those bucks needs. Because I'm like, that buck, he's got a spot somewhere in there where he's spending some time consistently. And they're not going to shed their antlers until probably April in there. March, April. So I'm going to go and I'm going to move a bunch of cameras around, and I'm going to look for big tracks specifically because, the buck sign doesn't really matter as much right now because it's post-rut. But I'm going to try to find that deer in the off season and see if I can stay on him, and going into next year, have a better idea of where his actual core area is. Because as far as I know, he made it too. So I'm really excited about that deer also. But that's going to be my little postseason scouting thing. Looking for turkeys while I'm at it. So
Yeah.
It's going to be good. It'll be good. Are you going to scout your club any for turkeys?
I need to. I haven't done it yet. I was depressed during deer season, not seeing any, which again doesn't really matter, but psychologically it does to me. But yeah, there's only a handful of spots that I'm super interested in turkeys on that place, so we'll see how it goes. Looking at it, there was something I was thinking of while you were talking about all that. Just like with deer shifting around and shedding. Oh, I was thinking when me and Greg hunted up in there for turkeys, kind of the area you're talking about, moving cameras around, found some fresh sheds in April up there before. But it is crazy. Like, that's the thing about Alabama. Like, people talk about shed hunting. It's a total side note. People talk about shed hunting, and the problem we have down here is any of these places that have these January, some of the December ruts, you might be able to find some of their sheds before it greens up. But any of these January rut places, by the time they start dropping antlers, you typically are already having green up, and it's so hard to find antlers unless it's in a food plot or some kind of open ground, because everything in the woods are starting to green back up, and it covers a lot of those antlers. So it's super tough to find sheds. It's not like some of these Midwestern states where, they've already been dropping or have already dropped, and you can just walk around
cornfields.
Yeah, well, not even just cornfields, but just in the woods. You get a little snow on the ground in the woods, and you can just like look out through there, especially if the snow starts melting. You can look out through there and pick up antlers and see antlers. They don't have to worry about green up until April. Or later than that. But also, yeah, as a recap, I mean, this year ended up being a really good year deer hunting wise, because I ended up killing 10 deer. I was actually trying to do math in my head. 10 deer, killed 3 bucks, and 7 does, which was super fun, man. At first I was a little not worried, but I just didn't know how the season was going to play out, and it turned out awesome, absolutely awesome. So killed that buck in Arkansas and killed us 2 in Alabama. But I'm now not only thinking about turkey season, but I'm also thinking about deer season next year and what I may try to do differently in some of these different areas, both on public, but also trying to figure out the private land situation. Because I don't think, like I said, I don't think I'm going to get back in my hunting club. Try to join old Maxwell's club, and if y'all want a spot in Andrew's club, hit him up.
Easy now.
Get you that VIP treatment. No, but Yeah, I'm just eager to see what the rest of this year looks like. Because again, deer season's coming to a close, but I mean turkey season, then kind of planning out for fall of 2026. I'm just excited. Never ends.
I mean, you had a good year in Alabama. What would you think about doing different? Because we had a big conversation about this. Actually, the day that you killed your really big buck, we talked about it on the phone for quite a while, and you were talking about wanting to buckle down a little bit more on specific areas to kill those bigger deer. And then, like 15 minutes later, you killed that deer.
Yeah. Probably, and I've said this before. I think it's probably the same conversation I have every February 9th or 10th every year. Things I'll do different. It doesn't always happen. But I think one thing that would help me have a little more confidence in certain areas, because I just don't use trail cameras. Like, you're the one that runs all the trail cameras. And I don't run any trail cameras. And just kind of like focus on sign, focus on areas that the deer are going to be crossing through and having success that way. But if I could run some cameras in a few spots just to kind of get an idea of what the area holds, I think would give me more confidence of hunting certain areas over other places. Same thing on the hunting club. I didn't run any cameras on the hunting club this year and had a fun time hunting out there. Seen tons of deer. Saw 2 really nice bucks. Didn't get any of them killed, but also I didn't really know exactly what was out there. Other than I had a couple buddies in the club that were showing me some photos. I'm like, all right, that's cool. Of course, nobody shows the biggest deer they get on camera to anybody. But it's one of those things that, like, I think just having a couple cameras just to have fun with it and trying to figure out inventory of what an area kind of holds and kind of confirming maybe some of the sign you're seeing and what might be there, I think would just help from the focus of breaking an area down and hunting it a little bit harder. Because I'm real bad about, like, finding a spot that's I think is really good based off sign, travel, like love travel corridors, finding that and then kind of locking down on it. But also at the flip of a switch, jump to something else is a little bit different and maybe not put the sole focus I need to in certain areas. So I don't know. That long story short, pop a couple cameras out and try to build some confidence in a few more areas.
Yeah. Yeah. Last week, getting towards the end of deer season, I went down to the Black Belt and I hunted Sam and Blakely's club with them. And we really, all we did was we put Blakely on a power line where she could see really far. And then me and Sam were going to go and slip hunt this area and do a little bit of calling. And it's an area they hadn't really been into yet, but they've put cameras on the edge of it, and they've had some good deer on camera, including the one that Sam ended up killing a couple weeks ago. He killed a real nice mature buck out there. And one thing about hunting down there, it's in the Black Belt of Alabama. We turkey hunted a bunch last year, and it's a really cool property. It's all pasture, like cattle pasture, and it's got a lot of Osage orange on it and just brushy, just cattle land. Not very much woods on it, actually. There's some creek bottoms that have water oaks and everything in them, but most of the property is kind of open ground. And some of the pastures are kind of grown up where it might be about hip high. Some of the grass is not real thick grass, like it's not hard to walk through, but like if you were to sit on the ground, you wouldn't be able to see that far through it. And one thing about out there, I don't know about you when we turkey hunted out there, but every time we've turkey hunted it, I've found deer sign, but I haven't found deer sign like how I usually find it if I'm other areas of the Black Belt. Like I hadn't found that sign out there where I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. Specifically scrapes. It's hard to find scrapes out there and that stuff because it's all grass, and you don't find a lot of times where they paw it out so much where it's just a big bare dirt spot, like they're scraping through the grass, and so it's kind of hard to see. And then as soon as you get a couple warm days in the spring, that grass shoots back up and the scrape's gone unless they broke the licking branch or something, so you can't find them. And so I didn't really find many scrapes in turkey season at all. Did you?
Yeah, I found scrapes. Yeah.
But like anything that like really got you excited, or was it just kind of a little bit of sign here?
No, just a little bit of sign. Nothing crazy. So
the area that me and him went and walked, the adjoining landowner had a cornfield planted on the south end of it, and it's a cut cornfield. And then when we eased into it, they don't run cattle on this specific part, and it is thick, like actually thick. And there's just all kinds of stuff in there that's growing that looks good for deer. And dude, as soon as we got into it. There was rubs, everywhere. Like, you stop, you look around, you're like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You walk 15 yards, you look around, there's 10 more. You walk 15 yards. Like, the whole way, it was just buck sign. Big rubs, too. Big, tall rubs. Big, thick trees rubbed. Ended up finding a whole bunch of big scrapes. And we got to a part, and there's like a little ditch running between two of these thickets on his property. And then it runs out into that cut cornfield. I was like, when we get down there, there's got to be sign on that ditch. Like, they got to be using that ditch to get in that cornfield. Coming in at that low spot, dude, we get down there. It's tore up. Not only is it tore up, but there's actually also a big deadhead right there that we found. It was missing one antler, but like a really nice buck deadhead. Found a shed in there and just all kinds of buck sign. And I was like, Sam, how many cameras do you have? And he said 10. I was like, put 8 of them in here. Like, I would run cameras in this stuff because it's also a part of the property that none of the other people are hunting at all. I was like, man. And as we walked around in it, there's a road that goes kind of right through the middle of it. And it's just like a little 2-track road. You could get a 4-wheeler down. You could, if you don't care about scratching your truck up, you could drive a truck down it. And there's a couple straightaways on it. One of these straightaways, like, the road goes and it bends and it goes for 200 yards straight. And at the end of that 200 yards, there's a tiny little opening with a tripod on it and a feeder that had 2 cameras on it. And he was saying that sometimes guys they hunt that, or I can't remember if it was a tripod or a ladder stand.
Yeah, I think it was a tripod is what you told me originally.
Well, anyways, so guys will go and they'll walk into that and they'll hunt that tripod. Well, what they're doing is they're sitting in that tripod and they're looking at that little tiny opening, and the tripod's set back off the road so you can't see back down the road, and all the good cover is to your back. And I was like, Sam, I would come in here and I'd hunt this. I hope they do this. I'm going to stay on Sam about it. Where you could come in, I was like, this is the perfect example of, like, guys getting into hunting clubs or hunting properties that other people are hunting where you can do something just a little bit different. I really think this would work, and we'll see if it works this fall, because I'm going to make sure Sam does this, is rather than walking all the way in there to that tripod and getting in the tripod and putting your back to the good cover, I was like, man, I would just walk to where this road bends where you could see down that straightaway to the tripod, and I would just tuck in on the side of the road in a turkey chair and with a tripod, and I would just watch that straightaway because there's trails crossing that road between the bend and where the tripod is. It's 200 yards even straight shot, and it's a small road. Like, you're gonna have to, like, really be on the gun because if they cross it, they're gonna be across real quick. But I was like, this is probably a good area, and I don't even know if that guy's hunting it very much. I don't think he is, but it could be even better if you just come in here and you just hunt a little bit less invasive. You hunt it on the right wind, and you're just watching that straightaway. And the reason I bring that up is because it was just such a prime example of that. And that's really what I did on my club this year that allowed me to shoot those 2 bucks. I mean, that's 2 of the biggest bucks I've ever shot in Alabama. And basically that's exactly what I did. I just saw where the food plots were and how most people were hunting them and just kind of got in between it and tried to hunt it in a less invasive way, and it paid off. So I just wanted to throw that out there here at the end, because if guys are scouting postseason, maybe you're in a club that you're rejoining this year, now you've got a year of history with it. Well, now you can look back at this year that you just hunted and see where those situations are at. You know, it's like, who was it we had on one time who's like, well, I'm not hunting a deer, I'm hunting a scenario, basically. Was that Wesley? Wesley Moe and Jerry?
I don't remember.
I think it was. But basically you're hunting a scenario. Like, that's a good scenario to hunt. So, you know, this time of year is a really good time to go and find those for next year. And, you know, maybe you have to trim some stuff, like that spot for Sam. I would trim a couple things. You could hunt it without trimming, but I was like, I'll just go ahead and trim it right now.
That's where that brush head from one of the guys in the club, I think his name is Michael, he had a skid steer with a big brush head on it that he could invert to 90 degrees, and he could drive down a road and literally cut everything up to like 7 foot off the ground with that brush head. It's like a bush hog on that skid steer. You could invert. Oh, dude, it was bad. Bad. There ain't no hand cutting nothing, bro. He just run it about 1.5 miles an hour and just go creeping down those roads. Just, dude, cut a heck of a lane going down.
So that's awesome.
Yep.
All right, got anything else?
No, well, we're going to be at NWTF this week. So by the time this episode comes out, it'll be day one of NWTF convention in Nashville, Tennessee. So we're not going to have a booth there. We're just doing some episodes, but we'll be walking around, hanging out. Going to hang out the Meadow Creek booth for a little bit, probably Saturday. But anyways, if y'all see us, come hang out, come say hi, and
Probably be in the Meadow Creek booth and the Mossy Oak booth a good bit.
yeah, both of those. So other than that, appreciate everybody watching the podcast. Thank y'all for listening. We'll catch you back here on the next episode from the Southern Outdoorsmen. And remember, guys, y'all stay Southern.